So before I get started, I just want to express my gratitude to New Life for allowing me to go on this mission trip, which was my first one ever. And I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who had prayed for our mission team. So when I found out this Monday morning that I was selected to share the testimony, I initially felt like I was the right person to give the testimony. I honestly wanted to back out. And I almost texted David, our leader, hey, thank you so much for the opportunity and the privilege, but, and then I literally heard the Holy Spirit in Pastor Eric's voice reminding me from his sermon past Sunday, no buts, I hate Christians and their buts, excuses, obedience is not agreement, BYSSIW. Because you said so, I will. Be that type of Christian. So here I am, Pastor Eric, being a BYSSIW Christian. Huge shout out to him. Yep. But yeah, thank you, Pastor Eric. This testimony would not have happened without you. But as seen in the video, so our mission team went to Cochabamba, Bolivia for the first time to help the local missionary, Pastor Kim, and his staff for 10 days. So New Life had sent mission teams to Bolivia before, but we had visited another city in Santa Cruz. So this was our first time in Cochabamba. And before we went on this mission trip, I actually was having the same dilemma that I had about giving the testimony tonight, where I just felt very unconfident. So we originally had 8 people sign up initially, but by the time we were getting ready, it dropped down to 4. And it was just quite discouraging, and I felt very concerned because we had a very packed itinerary, which included prison visits, school visits, evangelizing at the plaza, the city center, running English classes. And I thought to myself, how can we do all of this with just 4 people who don't really speak Spanish? And during the weeks leading up to the mission trip, I remember sharing to my house church every Friday night about how I still had a lot of doubts about being of any use for God's kingdom in Bolivia because I felt like my faith wasn't strong enough. We only had a team of 4 people. I felt tired and burnt out from work, and I was concerned about not having enough love left in me to share. But once we arrived, I quickly realized that all of my worries were for naught. So right after we landed at the airport, we were welcomed by the missionary and his staff. They brought us flowers and even had a Welcome New Life banner made for us. And they were extremely generous in providing lodging and food, and we were able to be quickly integrated to the team. And it really didn't take more than half a day for us to feel like we were part of their team, working for the same purpose in evangelizing and sharing the gospel. So we did most of our work in Cliza, a rural city on the outskirts of Cochabamba region, about an hour and a half away by car. And the city of Cliza was extremely rural. The people there lived in severe poverty. But even amidst such hard conditions, I really was truly able to feel God's presence. So like I shared, even though I had many doubts about this mission trip, from the first day, I was truly able to experience God and felt used by him for his kingdom. So I was able to connect and talk with the people in Cliza thanks to having learned Spanish in the past. And I was able to also help lead praise in the school grounds, inside the prison, during church service, in the plaza, city center, which was quite an experience because it was actually my first time singing with the microphone with my guitar plugged in because I only did house church praise for 8 people in the past. But yeah, I was doing it daily, multiple times a day in front of a really big crowd. And we also helped evangelize and spread the gospel in many different places and also taught English to over 100 students. And it was really spiritually healing for me to know that God had a way to find use for me and our team, even though I myself felt inadequate. And almost every day in Cliza felt like a reminder for me to be more humble, not just because of the harsh living conditions there, but also because every day things actually didn't happen according to our plan. We were faced with many stressful last-minute situations. So for example, we're expecting about 30 students for our English class, and over 100 students showed up. And of course, the only printers that was there in the church stopped working, so we ran out of materials. And then I was also forced to learn a bunch of local Spanish worship songs on the fly and then try to play and sing in front of a big crowd, which really did frustrate me every single day because I'm a bit of a perfectionist and I hate being unprepared. However, every night when we did our debrief back in our hotel room, I was reminded to stay humble, because what mattered the most was the fact that I was doing the work for God's kingdom. I mean, sure, my ego and pride was hurt, annoyed, and bruised for not being as prepared as I could have been, my singing and playing not sounding as great, etc. But I realized every day that this was not about me appearing very prepared and sounding good while singing and speaking perfect Spanish in front of others. That's just for me and my own glory, and not for God and His glory and His kingdom. And it's actually because we were underprepared, I was forced to heavily rely on God every single day. And by the end of our trip, we had a chance to visit the houses of the local folks, and we actually found out that even though a lot of missionaries from Canada, Korea, and America came every year, or twice a year to Kliza, since 2018, for almost more than 7 years, no missionaries had come to this part of town. So it actually didn't matter that we didn't, speak Spanish, or, I couldn't sing and play guitar as well as the praise team. It really didn't matter, because just our presence alone was a huge source of encouragement for the faith of the local people. And it's been truly humbling to just see so many people living out their faith in such extreme conditions. And I was truly grateful to experience God in a way I had never been able to before, and to realize that God has been using me for His kingdom. So the most important lesson that I learned from this trip was that as long as I show up with the right attitude, and by right attitude, I mean that fat spirit that PE always talks about, right? Faithful, adaptable, and teachable spirit. As long as I show up with that spirit, God will find a way to use me for His kingdom, even if I feel like I'm inadequate. And as PE always reminds us, humility and gratitude really do go a long way. So as I conclude, I just want to express my gratitude one last time to my house church and fellow mission team members, David, Jeremy, and JJ, these handsome men in the traditional Bolivian ponchos at the front right here. And really just everybody at New Life for their support and their prayers. And I would like to personally encourage others like me who haven't had a chance to go on a mission trip before, to go on a short-term mission trip maybe next year, so that you can also experience God and be blessed like I have been able to thanks to this mission trip. So that's it for my testimony tonight, and thank you very much for listening.